It launched rock's greatest comeback and spirited the resurrection of a guitar legend.
I don't think anyone was ready for that record. It caught us all by surprise.
It was Carlos Santana coming back to show there are no boundaries to music.
This 55-year-old guy went out there and hit a home run.
Carlos Santana's Supernatural is a divine revelation that lit up the world.
I knew I had a masterpiece of joy in my belly.
He wanted to send a message of hope through the music.
Carlos says the whole job as a musician is just to change people's molecular structure through music.
Santana says his miraculous second coming was inspired by a visit from an angel.
I'm very honored he chose me to convey a message to humanity, and the message is unity and harmony.
Played by Carlos Santana. It's a magical testament of hope, a giant leap forward in the spiritual journey of a rock and roll icon.
It had everything that it needed to become an instant classic.
It's an invitation to the masses to live with joy and less fear and less anger.
Supernatural is an ultimate album.
Hook up to the light.
It's a sermon of inspiration delivered by a musical shaman. A gospel transmitted through the strings of Carlos Santana's guitar.
Hey now.
The whole purpose of Supernatural Experience was to connect the molecules with the light.
Put your lights on. Put your lights on.
We want to connect humanity to the big picture, beyond America, beyond religion, beyond politics. The big picture is for the highest good of people in the planet.
He's always been spiritually hungry.
Say I got nothing to fear.
He's always seeking spiritually how to better every day.
He's got so much spirit. He's almost like a priest.
Carlos Santana's Supernatural united generations with its musical incantations.
Ladies and gents.
Tens of millions of fans around the world fell under its sacred spell.
A lot of parents, specifically fathers, said, I hadn't talked to my teenage son in a long time. But we both put on Supernatural and we started talking. It was like, psst.
The fairy dust kind of shakes off on everyone around him, and it makes you kind of open your eyes and see the world around you differently.
Santana spread his message with the help of a superstar flock of disciples, including Everlast, Wyclef Jean, Dave Matthews, and Rob Thomas.
And it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday sun.
For him, music is a side project to get the word of spirituality out.
As soon as the idea came up, then it's just, I'm your servant.
I know a lot of people in this world that thrives on money and look and what's out there, what's new, what's on TV. And his thing, he came from the heart.
To me, music it has a deeper sacred meaning, and I'm very honored that I was chosen to bring unity and harmony.
Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
The seeds of Supernatural's musical power were planted on the pulsating streets of Tijuana, Mexico. Carlos's father was a mariachi band leader who taught his son to play violin when he was just 5.
I adore my father because my father was very charismatic. He had a lot of charisma. He wasn't famous, but he could take over a room with the violin.
Jose Santana groomed his son to play traditional Mexican music, but Carlos changed his tune at age 10. He picked up a guitar after hearing the hypnotic sound of American blues.
I saw this gentleman in the park playing. When I heard that tone, bouncing off the trees and the cars, and it was like seeing a flying saucer for the first time. I knew right there and then that that's all I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
By 1967, Carlos had pursued his musical dreams north of the border. He was electrifying audiences in San Francisco nightclubs as the centerpiece of the Santana Blues Band.
He was putting a Latin spin on the blues. It was the first real rhythmic show that we'd seen. First time you'd see 5 drummers going at once.
They were pioneering a fusion of Latin and African and rock music and blues that was fresh, it was very contemporary, and so I just on the spot said, I gotta have
them. Clive Davis's instincts would prove divine. He signed Santana to Columbia Records in 1968. Their first 3 albums went platinum, and Carlos was anointed a guitar god.
Santana can hit a note, you know, and you hear 2 notes, and you, oh, it's Carlos Santana.
When Santana plays guitar, he's not just playing licks. It's like melodic. You can sing what he's playing.
But Axe wizardry alone didn't satisfy Santana's expanding musical curiosity. He spent the next 20 years in a restless pursuit of sonic nirvana, experimenting with everything from jazz fusion and blues to pop and disco.
Here's a guy who has always in his career tried to push things further, tried to turn rock into jazz, jazz into dance, dance into hip-hop.
But Santana's stylistic detours ultimately turned off his audience.
Say it again, say it high, say it low, say it again, what will know?
By the late 80s, gold and platinum albums were a thing of the past.
He took his music in other areas. The problem is that he took it so far into those other areas that he sort of lost the pop audience.
Carlos was written off as a relic of the Woodstock generation, out of touch with modern pop music. His albums failed to chart, and by 1995, he found himself without a record deal.
Popularity-wise, he was trading water. And he was barely selling 5,000 seats in a college gym, and it was fading at that point. His career had been up and down, and that was a down point.
7 to 12 record companies, they said that we were too old, they were not interested in us anymore.
As Carlos's professional fortunes plummeted, he found himself descending into emotional turmoil.
I was really angry and pissed off. It's a rage. It's like being in Vietnam.
Santana decided to enter therapy in 1995 to control his anger. During those sessions, he says he unearthed a disturbing repressed memory. He had been repeatedly molested as a child by an American tourist.
I'm still healing. It takes a while to take off that old skin, because there's a whole issue that goes with the guilt and shame.
Carlos's therapeutic breakthroughs inspired an intense period of spiritual searching. He developed a religious practice that combined meditation, dream realization, and a profound belief in angels as guiding spirits.
They're always present, and they're always ready to help you and your family and me and my family if we just ask with intensity. And Michael is the angel for protection, Raphael for healing, Gabriel is the one that appeared to Mary announcing Jesus. But Metatron is higher than all this. He's an archangel. He looks like the eye inside the triangle, like even in the dollar.
Carlos was captivated by thoughts of Metatron, the king of angels. And in the spring of 1995, he visited a New Age bookstore in San Rafael, California, seeking more information.
And I walked in and asked him, do you have any books, any literature on this Archangel Metatron? Because I feel like he's calling me. And so all these people turn around and say, what do you want to know about him? I said, well, I feel like he's calling me. And they said, well, we're having a meditation on him, tomorrow night. Would you like to attend? And I says, okay. And I was like, I'll try it,
Surrounded by candles, incense, water, and good vibes, Santana says he received a message from Metatron that would inspire a musical masterpiece.
Within 15, 20 minutes, he's right there, speaking through this lady that she said, Metatron said that he's going to hook you back into the airwaves. That's how they put it. The way it was put to me, it was like constructing a golden gate between the light and the molecules through sound resonance, vibration, and colors. I said, okay, I'll try it.
To Carlos, the angel's directive was perfectly clear. It was time to record an album that would send a message of hope to the masses.
I'm very honored that he chose me to convey a message to humanity. And the message is unity and harmony, especially these times that we're living, to transmute individually and collectively fear and anger into a masterpiece of joy. That's Metatron message.
Next, Carlos Santana gets a shot at supernatural redemption.
He was telling me that it was time for him to make a radio-friendly album. And I felt the same way.
When Ultimate Albums returns.